Hello everybody, this is Amy from Chateau de Rosieres. It's Sunday, the 19th of September, and we are opening for the Journée de Patrimoine, which is a French, well it's actually a European-wide, but it's very popular in France, weekend where lots of historic monuments which are normally closed to the public will open to the public. And we opened for the first time last year, and I've got a really good video for you of that at some point. And this year we're only opening on the Sunday of the weekend because yesterday we hosted a load of educational and children-based events for the village. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's been pouring with rain and thunderstorms all night, and we don't know whether anyone will turn up. Last year we thought no one would turn up. We'd done a lot of publicity and about 300 people came, or was it 200? Maybe 250. This year we've done very little publicity, so we have no idea who's going to come. But we charge €3, so it's a little bit of income. And more than that, it's a chance to showcase what we've been doing this year. So we're quite excited, and I'm on the gate, so I'm sat here ready for it. So Clement is all dressed up for the day, but he's already been sitting in the mud. Oopsie. This is our coach house, which you will have seen before if you watched the TV show Escape to the Chateau DIY, and you've seen on a couple of our videos. And today this is where we're going to host a couple of little things. Mark's going to do a talk at 11 o'clock and then 3 o'clock. He's got a presentation all set up with a projector there, and he's also got some information over here to tell people a bit about the history of the chateau. And this is always one of my favourite rooms, this one. And the ceiling is made with our own Douglas fir trees, which were cut a few years ago, and we left the bark on, which looks a bit scraggy in the video, but looked quite cool in real life. And Clement appears to be getting in early to have a proper seat for the talk, don't you, baby?
Papa.
Uh-huh. Mark has done loads of these little signs everywhere to tell people the history of the place, because last year we tried doing everything on one leaflet and it just wasn't enough space. So this time we've just done indications of where things are on the map. And that's for Saint Félicien, that's our village, and the programme of what's available here.
Mais également tous les murs en pierre sèche qu'il y avait partout, les terrasses de culture. Magnifique en pierre de taille qui fait 7 mètres de profondeur, qui devait à l'époque être la source d'eau du château, qui était située de façon assez pratique à l'intérieur même du château, et donc dans un bâtiment à l'époque. Ensuite, on a un autre petit bâtiment ici dont on n'a plus aucune trace. Alors on a quand même retrouvé quelques pierres de taille. Hello, this is Amy from Chateau de Rosieres.
He's being cheeky. I'm sat down because I keep having contractions. I don't know why you're sat down.
I'm sat down because I'm being supportive.
Right, well I started filming the Journée de Patrimoine for you, and we got as far as hoping some people might turn up, and then some people did turn up, and it suddenly required both of us to run around like headless chickens for quite a long time, and so I didn't film any more of it. And we had about 85 people, including kids and stuff, most on the same afternoon, and Mark was down here in the coach house doing talks, and then I was sort of rounding up stragglers and talking to them about things around the house. And then we decided, on a slight whim, although we kind of prepared for it, to open the dining room. which opens right onto the outside, and we've done a whole load of renovations in recently. And so I was trying to do tours of that in French, and I couldn't leave the room because of security reasons. And so it all got a bit out of hand. But it was a very successful day. And because we weren't able to film any more that day, I thought I'd get Mark to tell you a little bit about the talk that he gave and just some historical snippets about the chateau. You'll see I put in a little bit of his French talk, but clearly that's not going to be accessible for everybody, and it was only a snippet as well. I'm going to hand over to you.
It's a bit like we're having a talk show.
It does, doesn't it? We're on a talk show. I'm going to bring it a bit closer so people can see what you've put. Pepper wants to come in. Is she allowed in?
No.
Go on, Pepperty. Come on. You can come in.
No, she's not.
Lie down. Lie down. Good girl.
It was worth it.
What?
Having her to come just to lie down.
Yeah, well, she likes to be with us. Okay, I'm just going to sit here and make ooh and ah noises. And sarcastic comments, because that's what you do whenever I'm presenting something.
I see. So about
Would you
my
like me to
talk,
hold stuff
that's a good question.
We went on for an hour, so you don't need to say
Yeah, I'm going
thing.
to do the short version. I've been talking mostly about the history of the place since 1301, which is the first record we have of Rosieres, and even before, because we think there are remains of gold settlements on our land. So we'll go over the history in probably other episodes, because it would be a bit long to tell everything about it.
Yeah, I just wanted you to show them mostly some of the things you put on this display here.
So on the display I've been showing mostly old pictures of the house that I managed to gather, that we were given, or that we, old postcards. So it's quite interesting because there's reflections from, but we can see some buildings that have been demolished quite recently, some windows that have been blocked on another picture, and otherwise, apart from that, the chateau itself hasn't really changed in more than a century now.
No.
So it's quite interesting to see that. The other panel was just little snippets of 19th century newspapers that made reference to the chateau and the estate. It's quite funny because there were really local newspapers. They were from around the 1890s or 1870s to 1890s. So one of them mentions poultry being stolen in the cellar of Rosieres.
From the cellar?
Yeah, actually, I guess the door was open and somebody just helped themselves. And they suspect two persons that they saw hanging around the chateau. So the journalist says they hope the gendarmerie will be quick to catch the thieves.
What's the date of that one?
Actually, I haven't put it. It was, I think it was 1890. This one.
Yeah.
Then the other one is about a hunt. So they say that the chickens of the area can sleep quite soundly now because the fox has been caught, and so it was caught by one of the servants of Monsieur de la Valette, who was the owner of Rosieres at the time. So the servant of Monsieur de la Valette freed the chickens from the deadly enemy. And so he ran after, he saw the fox around the chateau, took his rifle and ran after it. And soon after, the people could hear a shot, and it was Mr. Bert, Monsieur Bert, the servant who had managed to shoot the fox in just one shot. So it was, yeah.
I was actually thinking that the popularity of certain types of news and the level of journalism haven't changed a massive amount here in 100 years, have they?
Well, maybe not, but actually this was actually really nicely written.
Yeah.
It was actually nice literature with, well, yeah, nice sentences without any spelling mistakes or typos, unlike they do now. But yeah, the type of news is quite funny. And the last one is a classified ad about, it's an advice for clog makers that there is some wood for sale at the Chateau de Rosieres, and it's Verne, so yeah, I forgot the name, kind of older, is it?
Yeah, I think
the
you're
one
right.
that,
Older,
yeah.
It's got little black nose.
Yeah, that's it.
ash.
Yeah. So yeah, they've cut some older, which is quite a soft wood and quite light, so very suitable for making clogs. So the clog makers can get the wood from the Chateau de Rosieres.
Nice.
Yeah. Then the other documents I'm gonna show. Yeah, there is this frame as well.
You always talk about him, don't you?
Yeah, so this is somebody we've talked about in the episode about the hidden book under the tower. This is Louis-Charles César de Romanet de l'Étrange, who was a general of the First Republic. We've talked about him already, and we will certainly talk about him again.
Some new exciting
it's quite a fascinating character. Other side, this is the copy of a manuscript I got hold of, dated 1585, and it's about a deed for maintaining 10 soldiers in the Chateau de Rosieres during the Wars of Religion. So
knights. I like to call them knights.
Well, they were soldiers because they weren't knights actually.
You told me
Sorry
they were
about
knights.
That. No, you interpreted it like that.
You said knights.
No, they are not knights, I'm afraid.
You said a retinue of knights were attached to...
No, you said that. I never said that. So,
What's the difference between a soldier and a knight?
A knight is on a horse.
Were they not on horses?
No.
I thought they went chasing people down the valley.
Yeah, but they were the knights.
So there were knights here. That was a different time period.
No, it was the same time period. But no, never mind. So yeah, this what's really interesting is that it says that there were actually 10 soldiers stationed at the chateau during the Wars of Religion.
Knights.
Soldiers.
Knights.
Soldiers. Then this document is a copy of a scrap paper of the probably late 19th, early 20th century, and it's extremely interesting because it's the plan of the water system of Rosieres, and it gives really interesting details because you had the plan of the house, the floor plan, and what we can see is 1, 2, 3 ponds in front of the house. When we arrived, there was only one, we found another one that had been turned into a septic tank, and we know there was a third one in the past, which is really interesting. So I hope one day we find the foundations for that one, yes, it would be really interesting. Then there was another pond by the gate, where the archway is. This pond has been concreted on top and turned into a cistern, which isn't really pretty. And on the other side, there was another pond, probably just in front of the coach house. And it says through that it was next to a greenhouse, which is really interesting as well, because the greenhouse isn't here anymore. But we found the foundations for it. And hopefully we are going to rebuild soon a new greenhouse at that exact place.
Do you hear the threatening notes of the way he said soon there?
Very soon.
It's Mark's dearest idea, dearest project, this, but we do have a couple of other priorities first.
No, that's the number one priority.
Mark, it's hard to tell whether Mark's more passionate about plants or history, actually.
I'm happy to move in the greenhouse with me too.
And me and Clement and the new baby are just sleep where?
Well, you're welcome to share the greenhouse with me. This map here is the Napoleonic map of 1836. And it's really interesting because it shows the chateau with the buildings that are not here anymore, but also all the dry stone walls, the old path that had more or less disappeared, and also the use of the land, whether it was agricultural or forest, chestnut plantations, various uses.
I think we should do a specific episode on this at some point.
Yeah, that's a
really
good idea.
interesting map.
Yeah. And we've been using it a lot to restore the estate.
Yeah. I think that's enough for today.
Great.
Unless you've got anything else burning to say.
No, I think we have. We'll say more in further in future episodes. And yeah. Bye.